What is going on, RE fans? It is time to break down the RE9 trailer, do some dissecting. I'm gonna give my opinions and everything. Feel free to leave y'all theories and all that good stuff in the comments as well. I'll make videos doing predictions, all that good stuff about the game. But right now, I'm gonna stick to breakdown and dissecting. If you've been on this channel long enough, you know how excited I am for this game. I have watched this trailer an unhealthy amount of times. So before I start the video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, especially if you love Resident Evil content, horror game content, in general, gaming news, all that good stuff. I am your guy. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you to everybody that fully supports the videos and all that good stuff. Trust me, it does not go unnoticed. Right here, we are introduced to Grace Ashcroft, the daughter of Alyssa Ashcroft. And so many of y'all do not even know who Alyssa Ashcroft is. It just blew my mind. And it really opened my eyes to the fact that we have so many new people to the Resident Evil franchise, new fans that just came from remakes and stuff. And real quick, I'm just going to introduce Alyssa Ashcroft. Alyssa Ashcroft is a character from Resident Evil Outbreak. She was one of the few people that were able to escape before Raccoon City was even nuked. She ended up being infected by a T-virus, a strand of T-virus, and luckily for her, they had a vaccine called Daylight. And from what I remember, I think it stopped the progression of the virus or whatever, and she ended up being completely fine. Now, the reason why that's so important is because after the whole incident and everything, whoever that guy is sitting in the chair, let me just fast forward real quick.
I know now that you're the one that I've been searching for. The special one, the chosen one. Miss Ashcroft.
Special one, chosen one, Miss Ashcroft. Now, could this be a situation where Alyssa was never murdered and she was just captured and held captive for 8 years? It could possibly be. He could absolutely be talking about Alyssa because she had the Daylight vaccine in her. Or she could have passed it down to Grace, who has special genetics, and that's the reason why whoever this guy is wants her. This all ties in with Resident Evil Outbreak, which is absolutely cool because who would have imagined a mainline entry would be tied to a spin-off game? And I guess that makes it canon now.
The Redwood Hotel.
Now, Grace is tasked with going back to the hotel that has caused her so much trauma, which is where Alyssa was murdered at. And the big thing I noticed with this trailer is that Capcom is emphasizing going back and facing the past, which opens up the floodgates for a lot of shit to come out in this game. But from my assumption, this is definitely going to tie in heavy to psychological horror, which we have not seen Capcom even dip their toe into when it comes to their version of horror. And as you can see here from the trailer, you see flashbacks, seeing what the hotel looked like inside. We see Alyssa Ashcroft, and I have just this sneaky suspicion that Alyssa Ashcroft's events will be playable. We will see what happens to her. We will see what her investigation looked like in that hotel leading up to her death, which I think involves a certain character that was shown in this trailer. So right here, we see Alyssa Ashcroft and we see her navigating through the hotel or whatever. The reason why I have a theory that she might not even be dead, we've seen the same thing happen in RE7 with Ethan's wife, Mia being actually held captive. I forgot the exact amount of years she was going, but she was never dead. She was held captive. The same thing could happen to Alyssa. But this situation right here, in my opinion, shows will definitely be playing her section of the game. Her daughter can't have a flashback because she doesn't know what happened in the actual hotel other than her being murdered, which I do think she is, because how would they know she was murdered? But my second theory is that she's possibly held captive, but again, I could be wrong.
Face the past.
So as he says that, face the past. That's such a huge emphasis in this game, which I feel like other characters like OG returning characters are going to face the past when they go visit Raccoon City once again. I almost forgot the hooded man. I see so many people saying, it's Leon, it's Leon, help me Leon. No, it's not Leon. I can guarantee you it's not Leon. I would be so surprised. This is very reminiscent of when people swore up and down the daughters of Lady Dimitrescu was like freaking Claire and it was somebody else. I think this is fans just fiending for their favorite character and wanting them to be back. I do think Leon is in this game, by the way. I absolutely do, but I don't think he's the hooded man. It wouldn't be the first time, though, because Jill was a hooded figure brainwashed in Resident Evil 5. So I can see why people guess that, but I just don't see that being Leon. I could be wrong. This is the person that either murdered Alyssa Ashcroft, and as we see later on in the trailer, he took out a bunch of other agents, or this is the person that actually captured Grace. Now, right here is such a key part that a lot of people are not paying attention to. So, Grace has actually been captured, which leads me to believe everything we've seen with her being talked to in the office, given this task, all of that is actually the prologue to Resident Evil Requiem. Now, I'm not saying she's not playable or she's not going to play a huge prominent role, because she is. She is definitely playing a huge part in this game, and I think that ties into Capcom not committing to actual numbers anymore, because yes, this is Resident Evil 9, but they called it Requiem, much like how Resident Evil 8 is Resident Evil Village. I think this opens up the floodgates for newer characters in the future, but her being captured leads me to believe that another character is actually going to be the real main character in this game. Somebody like Leon returning to Raccoon City. I don't think this is going to be a Resident Evil 4, save the damsel in distress situation. I believe she will get out of this. She will get saved early into the game. But again, I'll talk about that in my prediction video. I just feel like she is not going to be the only character we play as, due to the fact that she's already captured in this trailer. So right here we have missing people reports all over the wall. This has to tie into the deaths in the hotel. Now, a lot of people seem to believe that Ada Wong is, this is Ada Wong right here. And this looks like your typical Ada Wong, seeing her in some type of coat, walking in the rain with them glasses. You know how Ada Wong gets down. I'm not sure that is Ada Wong. I do think Ada Wong will be in this game as well. I don't know if this is Ada Wong. I think this is just a people walking near this hotel. I just think it's that simple. Now, you hear somebody say they're coming. I do believe that is actually Alyssa Ashcroft. I think when she was doing that investigation, I think she had a cameraman with her. I could be wrong. If that is not Alyssa Ashcroft, maybe that's somebody like Jill. That's not Grace's voice. I've seen so many people theorize that this is the return of Wesker. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but he was absolutely shitted on in that volcano. Blew up and melted to death on top of that. There is no way that's Wesker unless that cold clone theory is actually legit. And then I see people saying because of the person's head, he looks a bit older. Because of the back of the person's head, they think this is Oswell E. Spencer. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news on that, but Wesker put that boy on a shirt. So I don't see that being either or. Maybe in a very Resident Evil-esque twist that is Oswell E. Spencer. Maybe Wesker killed his clone or something like that. You never know with RE, because there's a lot of fuckery that goes on. But I think this is actually a completely new villain, or somebody tied in with like Revelations or something like that. Revelations 2, I should say. But only time will tell. Now, right here, we're going to hear different voices, and this all but confirms that the OG characters are returning, or at least a couple of them. Let's just listen here real quick.
Investigating all these strange deaths, huh?
We need to keep our voices down.
Have you seen the same shit I've seen?
Now, that last voice is so hard to decipher, because I believe the voice actor for Chris, because I do think that sounds like Chris, is actually the voice actor for Carlos as well. So a lot of people think this is Carlos' return. That would actually be insane, because Carlos has only been in one RE game to my knowledge, and that's RE3. I do think we will see a lot of returning characters. They might not be playable, but this is Resident Evil 9. This is where a lot of storylines are going to close, so I expect to see a lot of returning faces. It does sound like Carlos, but I'm gonna stick with Chris. I just don't see Carlos returning after all these years. But who knows? I mean, nobody thought Alyssa Ashcroft would have a main storyline in a mainline entry, so you never know. The getting all these strange death, I think that's Leon. I actually think that is Leon. Much older Leon as well, because I think he's about, what, 48 in this time period, so he's way older. Stick to my guns, I think that is Leon. And now there is a female voice we hear immediately after that.
We need to keep our voices down.
We need to keep our voices down. I might be crazy, but I think that's Ada Wong. This very well could be Alyssa Ashcroft talking to her cameraman, if she had one, while she was investigating the hotel. But if not, I think this is only one of two options. This is either Ada Wong or this is Jill Valentine. It's either those two. I don't see any other female Resident Evil protagonist returning. It is a very mature voice.
Have you seen the same shit I've seen?
That really does sound like Carlos, though. Now, that right there, I think that could be Alyssa Ashcroft as well. Maybe her final moments, or that is some other character that has been captured. But I think that's Alyssa Ashcroft probably saying her final goodbyes. Probably picked up the camera or whatever and said what she had to say before the hooded man or whatever ended up murdering her. I think that is Alyssa Ashcroft.
Everyone's gone.
That sounds like Grace. And as we see, destroyed RPD station, freaking beautiful. Now, this right here, I feel like this is where the hooded man just went on a fucking killing spree. He probably stabs him up, and then you see, I think immediately after this, he has like a plastic bag over somebody's head. I think he is taking out everybody trying to get the Grace. I could be wrong. Or maybe this happens around the time period of Alyssa, who knows. But the hooded man, I think he is completely behind all of this. This right here is some freaky ass shit. I don't know. I truly don't know what the hell that thing is. It has shackles. And I know a lot of people think this is Lisa Trevor. If I'm not mistaken, Lisa Trevor is dead. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. It's been a minute since I played RE1. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me if there's any possible way of her still being alive. But I do not think that's Lisa Trevor. Whatever this thing is, it was clearly bound to something and not let out. As you can see behind it, though, there is a horse statue that is possibly a puzzle. I think maybe this is Grace investigating the hotel. And you're going to have to avoid this creature, whatever the hell this is. Or maybe this is what Alyssa was going through in the hotel. But I think this is very early on in the game. I think it's probably a female creature or something like that. But whatever it is, it does not look like it's going down easy. Right here, we see the hooded man back on BS, strangling this guy with a plastic bag. I think the hooded man is going to be an absolute menace. I think we're going to have to deal with so many different obstacles in this game. You can see we just saw a giant ass creature. We see zombies later on in the trailer. And this hooded man has just been taking out everybody. So I think he is going to be one of the few villains in this story mode. But this is clearly not the guy that was yelling before he died. No beard, no anything. This is a new agent. Right here confirms zombies are absolutely back. And it's been a very long time since we've seen zombies in a Resident Evil game. Like, this is insane. Now, right here, we heard shackles. We seen that giant creature have shackles. Maybe that's what this enemy is. Or this is just a regular zombie, very Resi 1-esque situation. It looks greedy, grimy. And I've seen some people say that this could actually be Alyssa. I do see some people saying this could be Alyssa Ashcroft because of the blonde hair. The whole thing about this game is going against the past. I would not be surprised if we had a situation where Grace actually runs into an experimented on Alyssa. For all we know, they could have took the body, did some experimentation on there, and just held her captive, and that will be one of the big scenes with Grace facing her trauma, her past, and having to take out Alyssa. Or what I just said could be all bullshit, and it can absolutely just be a random fucking zombie. Who knows? As you can see from the title card, this is not your typical Resident Evil. This will be the most grimy, disgusting, horrifying Resident Evil we've ever experienced. And I believe trauma is going to be a heavy factor, much like the Silent Hill game. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with RE9. And of course, the more trailers come out, the more we will know. Or this can be a RE Village situation where they make it look like one thing. Remember, everybody thought Lady D was going to be the main villain and all that stuff. And when we got closer to the game, that's when a lot more stuff started unveiling itself. So I think we're in for a very huge surprise with this game. But that's my breakdown of the RE9 trailer. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all will see this first before I put out the prediction video, but I absolutely will be covering this game like crazy. I didn't forget about Silent Hill F as well. I'm definitely going to be talking about that very soon. And yeah, it's just a great time to be a horror game fan as well. We're literally in the fucking renaissance, bro. It's beautiful. But if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for the support. Please hit that like button for your boy. Let's get this video out to the masses. I'll catch you guys on the next one.